So the concept for the thing is to take all the Mutants Masterminds characters we had this year, all 12 of them, and face them off in a one-on-one tournament arc. We're using a seeded bracket. I asked each group before the end of the year to pick their two heaviest hitters, and those became the first seeds for this tournament arc. So there is this first round here. This is the first seeded that you picked, shuffled, and played out. And here is everyone else. And then boom, 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 boom. We flip over to determine how it goes. Art and Siren, winner goes to face Clara, and so on and so on. It's a simple setup. We've got the round arena, about 30-foot single movement action to reach from the starting point. It's a raised platform with a sandy bed around it, surrounded by a geodesic dome held up by 4 pillars. The dome has handholds on all of the pipe intersections, and the pillars holding it up have ladders on them. Simple rules for the tournament. Everyone has 3 hero points for the entire tournament. You can only use 1 hero point per round. And if you fall out of the arena into the sand, you lose the match. If you teleport outside of the dome, you lose the match. And if you are incapacitated, fall asleep, and any of the other vast array of Mutants and Masterminds conditions that put you out of a battle, then you are also out. So here we go, all of the actions. I did them all one by one, rolled for everything, double-checked the rules, kept notes, moved little tokens around on the board. You know, all the classics. This is just proof. I've imagined cutting out the dice rolls and stuff, but that all seemed too tedious. But you can trust me. All of the outcomes of the forthcoming battle descriptions are by the rules. We're all rolled for meticulously, and you can see them all cooking away there. All right, Arden versus Siren, take 1. Arden's first off the block with a powerful needle strike. Siren quickly steps back, then poofs 12 sirens in a ring around Arden, then ports into one of them, disguising his location. Arden calls Willow to her side. He grows big and fires up, scooping Arden onto his back. Willow flicks his snout high to conjure a smooth fire dome around all the illusions, himself and Arden. Siren sees it coming, but stays put. All the sirens activate their devil armor. Siren shuffles to a new mirror image. Willow brandishes his 3 fiery tails, filling the bubble with burning floof. Siren saves for half, but the fire burns well. He is damaged and dazed. He ports himself high behind a pillar just out of sight. It's a blind jump. He flexes his acrobat skills to the limit and nabs a rung. Siren's daze ends. Willow sweeps his tails through the dozen sirens, but without line of sight with Siren, none of them react quite right. Willow circles the outside edge of the arena until Arden spots Siren high on a pillar. Willow leaps, and Arden strikes with another power spear and connects. Siren's devil armor cracks under the pressure as Siren takes damage. All the sirens port to the base of the next pillar over. They all pull violins out of their cases and play their hellish ditty. He's in good practice, but Arden and Willow know this move. They both muscle through the frequencies unscathed without trying to plug their ears. Arden showers the crowd of clones with a volley of arrows, and Willow covers them in a huge wave of blue fire breath. The fire rolls over the devil armor, but an arrow punctures Siren just above the knee. Siren takes more damage. Having wrecked the crowd, Willow leaps into his bubble for some cover. The sirens double down on their tunes, but Arden and Willow are still hype, resisting the hypnotic trance. Siren starts to think his song's not going to work on these two. He port swaps with a clone and braces himself. Willow pops the bubble, leaping among the sirens for another fiery floof strike. Siren manages to tank the fire, but he feels the floof brush across him. That's all Arden needs to lash out with a power spear, but she whiffs. All the sirens chuckle at her menacingly, then draw pistols and fire at Arden. She flattens out on Willow's back on instinct, taking no wounds. With nowhere to hide, Siren keeps up his mirror image shuffle. Willow woofs one of his patented sky pebbles into the air, up near the top of the dome, and hops on it. Arden pulls a violent forked arrow from her quiver. It opens into a massive net of blue fire that covers the floor. Siren's caught by surprise and gets snagged in the net. Luckily, the burn doesn't pierce his armor, but it seems a bit sticky. The sirens pour it out from under the net to the base of a pillar, and Siren decides it's time for some fire of his own. Accompanied by his signature snap, a huge blast of red fire bursts over Arden and Willow. They tank the flames no problem. Arden readies one of her mythical siege arrows, and Willow howls. A perfect blue sphere of star flames manifests over the entire arena floor. Siren's blinded and burned all over by the blue star, taking damage once more. And the blue star persists. Siren, blind, ports to the edge of the dome where he hopes he can nab a rung. His jump comes up short as he critical fails to acrobat, appearing just out of reach above the roiling fireball. Arden spots him easily, firing the siege arrow. It's a near miss, but the explosion from it coats Siren in even more persistent fire, damaging Siren again. No choice but to port to a pillar or fall in the sand. Willow keeps howling to maintain the fireball. Arden leans on a classic, hucks a spore jar at Siren's pillar. He manages to resist the spore cloud for now, as well as shake off the leftover fire from the siege arrow. Siren ports to the next pillar over. Arden's clearly one tough target. He leans for his bread and butter, blasting her with a firebolt, and scores a critical 20 white in her face, properly damaging Arden. Willow releases all his flames and plonks down at the base of the pillar Siren's hanging out on. Arden fires an arrow on the way down, but needs a hero point to score a hit. Siren takes 3 multi-attack arrows in his shoulder. He's damaged and staggered. Willow lands and spits a little sticky fire right into Siren's back, but his armor refuses to burn. Siren tosses another firebolt at Arden, needing a hero point to hit with pain in his arm. It's another blast of fire damage for Arden. Siren's not going anywhere staggered like this. Willow yips at the sticky fire coating Siren, but Siren's quick-witted. He burns a hero point to fast counter the blue flames with his red, managing to peel the fire away before it can burn through his armor this round or next. Arden dials up the pressure with more rapid-fire arrows, scoring another damaging hit. Siren's battered and bruised, but he refuses to relent. He readies an action to counter the next fire attack from Willow. Willow spews out a cone of fire breath. Siren needs a hero point to win this fire versus fire showdown, capturing everything into a blue ball in his hand. As the fire clears, it only reveals Arden's face as she arrives with a powerful spear attack. Siren's pierced right through the chest and drug all the way down to the arena floor, where Arden wins the match. Clyde versus Kevin. Take one. Kevin's fast on the draw, blasting Clyde right in the forehead with a hypno beam shot from his mind's eye. The beam's strong enough to slightly bend the light around it. Clyde's entranced instantly by Kevin, who takes cover behind a pillar. Clyde spends the whole round staring off over towards Kevin before finally remembering he's in the middle of a tournament arc, shakes free from the entrancement. Kevin wants to clear a win quickly before Clyde can get rolling, so he tries to flex on him with mind control. It's like scraping against a boulder. Kevin can't break in, and Clyde doesn't even notice it's happening. Clyde's in the game now and summons Babazada to the arena, then ducks behind a pillar, unlocking his fishing line. Baba strolls forward imperiously and zaps Kevin with lightning like he's the center of a plasma ball. Kevin takes some electrical damage. Kevin's in big trouble, so he blasts the whole place with a wide area psychic brain scrambler. Waves of warp ripple over the arena, and Baba gets wobbled by it, becoming hindered. Clyde doesn't even flinch. Kevin ducks back into cover. Clyde's got his line out now, so he swings wide around the arena to Kevin. He strikes out with his hook fly and scores a brutal cut on Kevin. He's damaged and dazed and gets wrapped tight to the pillar. Baba gets a little closer and strikes true with the zaps for another damage on Kevin. Baba's still slowed by the brain scrambler and just can't shake it. Kevin's trapped in fishing line. He's about to get zapped so much. He's got one chance. He stares right in Clyde's eye, breaks through his willpower, and takes over. Clyde is struck by the memory of his big sandwich in the cooler. How if only he lost this round, he could be eating that delicious sandwich right now. Clyde fails to perceive this idea as anything but his own. Baba winds up for another zap, but before she could call her storm down, she bursts into a puddle on the floor as Clyde dismisses her. He frees Kevin and winds his fishing line as it strolls over to the arena's edge and hops right off. Clyde is disqualified, and Kevin wins the match. Snake versus Ren. Take 3. Snake's got that haste in him. He shrinks into a tiny hawk. Snake flies to the upper reaches of the dome, swooping around the edge with an eye on Ren. Reaching into her bag, Ren pulls out the croquet mallet and readies a strike, hoping to plaster Snag against the glass before he can reach her with those horrid spikes. Snag finds his line and dives, launching a swift sting down at Ren. She swings her mallet and swings too wide. Snag sting strikes true, causing Ren to take damage and get dazed. Ren knows what's next, but manages to pull the stinger free before Snake can wrap her up in claws and fangs. Tiny eagles are hard to hit, so Ren takes a peek in the bag. She pulls out the bubble wand and bubbles nearly half the dome. Snake's too quick, popping his way free of the suds. Ren holds her ground and her daze ends. Snag's in his comfort zone, bringing in another swift sting. Snags in his comfort zone, bringing in another swift sting that's just barely hits Ren in the shoulder. He manages to damage her with the sting, plants his hooks, and snaps in close to wrap her in tooth and claws like a horrible crab. Ren can just barely reach her bag and finds her umbrella. She draws it out and activates her magical umbrella field as her daze ends. Snake's got Ren wrapped up tight, and he's eager to break some bones with his constrict attack. He winds back and crashes down against Ren's magical shield. The glitter force field grows, reflects him back with all the force of his squeeze. Snag gets back in the air to do more swooping. After barely avoiding having her bones snapped, Ren pulls out her frying pan and readies to strike when Snag comes in for the next attack. Snag ducks behind the top of a pillar and shapeshifts into a little mantis with nasty pincers and a color-shifting shell. He blends into the metal and begins creeping to the floor. Ren knows Snag's hiding right behind that pillar there and could strike any moment. She checks her bag and finds the tree sap darts. One of these could end the fight instantly, so she draws them out and readies a dart attack. Snag sets his mantis scheme in motion. He shifts his shell to match the floor and gets as low as possible and readies an attack when his new extra sharp pinchers. Ren's got her darts ready as she slowly steps towards the pillar. Snag hid behind. Ren fails to spot him before he lashes out with his pincers for a critical hit. Ren takes some damage, then sweeps his claws away with her free hand before he can take hold and grab. She retaliates with a big dart in her hand, stabbing Snag right in his thorax. Snag feels the tree seep in. He's fatigued by the goo. Tired and slowed by the tree sap, Snag tries for another pincer strike while he's still in reach. He lashes out, but Ren easily sidesteps his fatigued, lazy pincers. Snag flits to cover behind another pillar and tries to shake off the sap. He feels the ongoing poisoning subside, but he's still just as tired. Ren's liking her odds with these tree sap darts, so she posts up and readies another one. Snag blends into the floor and begins creeping towards Ren for a surprise attack. There's a long pause in the battle while he sneaks into range for a critical hit. Ren takes some damage through her amulet's magic shield, but it's helpful for holding Snag's constricting claws back. Ren retaliates with a dart, stabbing him square in the back. Snag feels that sluggish slap in his veins, but manages to shake it off with gusto before swooping up in a mantis wing. Rounds 16, 17, 18, and 19 go by. For several more rounds, neither Ren nor Snag manage to score a hit. Snag swooping his pinchers by, looking for a match-ending constrict. Ren keeps throwing darts that just sail through the air. Feeling the pressure, Ren winds up and, with a hero point, manages to lead Snag enough to score a hit on him. Snag takes tree sap straight to the veins and droops in the air as the dart falls free to the sand. Snag swoops round, can feel the sap digging deep, and tries for one last pincer snap. He manages to score a strike with a hero point, but Ren's pendant is keeping her safe and sound. As he takes to the air once more, trying to think up some new move, the progressive tree sap grips him tight, turning him into a little mantis-shaped tree that clonks to the ground as Ren takes the match. Balthazar versus Mystery Mike. Take one. Balthazar's first off the block in this match, and he can see Mystery Mike is wreathed in magic aura from head to toe. He starts glowing green himself, activating his bog rage. Down a move action, he goes in with a charge and punches Mystery Mike square in the jaw. It's a masterful hook, damaging Mike and causing him to stagger. Balthazar tries to convert the punch into a grab, but Mike's wobbling backwards from the knockout blow. Mystery Mike is shaken, but cogent enough to draw a magic wand and blast Balthazar with an eye bite spell. Balthazar takes the magic like a champ, brushing it off with ease. Balthazar can tell there's something fishy going on before Mike can even raised some defenses, he spun out and on the floor from Balthazar's three-punch combo. The illusions Mystery Mike had all over him blink off, revealing Mike was nothing more than 12 kobolds in a trench coat. They all scramble trying to get away as Balthazar simply strolls to the door, kicking a loose kobold into the glass with a loud thunk. Arden versus Clara. Take one. Arden's got the gas on. She dashes forward with her needle's power attack. Clara manages to deflect the spear to the side with her forearm just in time. Claire's got Arden up close. She wraps herself in her crystalline armor, then grows a crystal cage from out of the ground around herself and Arden. Surprised, Arden is caught flat-footed and trapped inside the cage with Clara. Arden hops back from Clara as far as she can, then chunks a spore jar to the back wall, bathing Clara in shroom clouds. Clara's helmet's tight and her lungs are strong, managing to resist the spore's effects with critical success. Now that everyone's stuck in this little room, Clara grows herself a nice sharp blade and rushes in for a quick stab. Arden parries the blade and keeps herself intact. There's not enough room to maneuver in here for Clara to get free of the cloud, though. Arden, unfazed by the shine, spins her spear round for a fresh power attack into Clara's neck. The needle scrapes across Clara's armor like chalk on a board. The spores have one more round of hassle for Clara, but she's still holding strong against it. As the spores settle down, Arden is starting to rethink her strategy. Clara's feeling confident, conjuring up a long sword for a wood chop slash and nearly slays Arden down. She would have, but Arden spends a hero point to narrowly deflect the sword off her spear. Arden needs some help, so she's conjuring up her best friend Willow. He grows large and flames up. Arden hops on his back and he wraps them in a tight, protective, fiery bubble. Clara crumbles her crystal cage and strolls around the fire dome, taking inventory of the thing while she turns her sword into a massive mace. She crashes it into the fire bubble, shattering the ball to pieces of glass fire. Arden retaliates with another power strike. She scores a solid hit, but Clara's armor brushes it off with a critical 20. Willow joins in with a quick little bit of sticky fire spat right at Clara. He hits her center mass while Clara tanks the additional fire. It'll only grow stronger each round. Arden and Willow split up into a flanking stance around Clara. With two targets, Clara winds up one massive cleaver slash through the both of them. Arden and Willow both try their best to dodge the massive blade, but each one takes some damage. Clara skids over the ground to Arden, trying to keep her close. Willow keeps us focused on the sticky fire, pushing it to spread all over Clara, damaging and dazing her. Arden throws another spore jar at Clara on her way to meet Willow by a pillar. This time Clara's off her game and gets a deep breath full of spores, dazing and hindering her. Clara's on the back foot, but she's got plenty of fight left. She grows a ballista bolt out of the ground and launches it right at Willow. It's a solid hit, and Willow takes a bit of damage from the sheer weight of the thing. Clara tries to shake off the spores and succeeds as her daze ends. Willow's sticky fire is doing the trick. He presses that sticky blue fire even more, damaging and dazing Clara again. Arden stabs at Clara with another power attack and narrowly scores a heavy hit with a hero point, cracking Clara's armor and damaging her even more. Willow and Arden take position mid-arena. Clara's still standing in a cloud of spores, but this time she can resist. Whoa, Clara covers herself with a big old crystal shell to protect her. as her days ends. Regardless, Willow can still press that fire. He gives Clara another dose of that sticky damage. Arden readies up a siege arrow for the moment Clara bursts out of this crystal shell. Clara can't seem to do anything to shake off this fire. But maybe she can win this fight with one big move. She flips the shell and launches it at Arden and Willow. Willow slinks low enough to miss the rock, but Arden gets the full rock right in the kisser. She pushed all the way to the dome edge and dropped in the sand as Clara wins the match. Jeremy versus Kevin. Take one. Jeremy's faster with his quick draw, pulling his laser blaster free and fires at Kevin. The shot's aimed dead on, but Kevin's miraculously sidesteps the beam. Jeremy makes a frustrated sound as he calls down King Nova and climbs on board. Kevin's bat feels flimsy next to this mech suit, so he blasts Jeremy with a hypno beam. Jeremy nearly falls for the beam's tricks, but with a hero point, he scores a critical success against the effects of the beam. Kevin makes a break for some cover behind one of these pillars. Jeremy heelys right up to Kevin and delivers a robot punch to Kevin's chest. Miraculously, he manages to hold his ground, taking damage but not getting flung to the glass. This big mecha is terrifying. Kevin blasts a brain scrambler full force at Jeremy. Whether it's the suit or Jeremy's willpower, he manages to keep his wits about him. Kevin starts running for the next pillar for a sliver of cover. Looking to end this in a single blow, Jeremy two-hands the faux chopper and swings it right at Kevin with ease. The chopper comes down with a clang, and Kevin somehow manages to get by with only a slice off his tool belt. Kevin needs to wrap this up before he gets split, so he tries to mind control Jeremy. Feels bit weird and dizzy and becomes vulnerable. Kevin keeps running. Bit dizzy all of a sudden, Jeremy slams the faux chopper into the floor and unlimbers the chainsaw from his back, revving it up. He rushes Kevin again and swings this beast as accurately as he can. It's a massive strike that Kevin needs a hero point to survive with only some damage in a daze. There's a shocked gasp as the crowd realizes Kevin's leg's been chopped clean off. Jeremy manages to shake off the dizziness and line up for his next swing. Kevin's freaking out. This is not a fair match by any measure, but he's got to try to win. He pushes his mind control power to the limit, boosting it with extra effort. Jeremy, faced with even tougher psychic force than last time, miraculously maintains his steely defenses. Kevin's daze ends. Jeremy didn't even notice the mind control. He reaches to Kevin, but has to burn a hero point to catch him. Kevin's no match for the strength of King Nova, even after burning a hero point to resist the grip. He gets nabbed in the robot fist. Jeremy pulls his own extra effort out of his sleeve and spikes Kevin to the ground outside on the edge of the arena, winning the match. All right, Junjin versus Ren, take two. Ren's first in line for this match and quickly draws her frying pan. This Junjin guy looks chill enough, so Ren charges and pan smacks him. Junjin needs a hero point to get by damaged and dazed. Junjin's still burning, so he transforms into the Devil Trigger. She points at Ren, who is suddenly attacked by a murder of invisible crows. Ren's shield pendant does all the heavy lifting, but it can't save her nerves. Junjin's days ends. Ren's shook by the crows, not sure what's coming next. She checks her bag and finds the glitter mace. She readies the glitter strike with one hand while her pants held low in the other. Junjin continues burning, taking even more damage and getting dazed for a second time. Junjin's scaly hand plucks the monster rancher from thin air. The invisible murder distracts Ren, lining Junjin up for the perfect power throw. Ren's rolling hard with a critical success, hammer bouncing right off her pendant shield. Junjin's days ends. Ren's feeling tough and wants to end this invisible murder show quick. She rolls in and clocks Junjin heavy across the face. Junjin's new form as easily takes the damage, but the glitter has her dazed and vulnerable. The invisible murder aids Junjin again with another round, pecking at Ren. Junjin winds up and clobbers Ren with real force. Ren suffers some damage and gets dazed. The glitter's strong in Junjin's eyes. She can't shake it. Ren takes a quick peek at her bag and spots the bubble wand in there. Nothing for it. She's just got to bonk Junjin to the floor. It's a narrow hit with a hero point spent, but Junjin's jaw goes haywire. It takes a hero point from Junjin to tank the damage, but the glitter compounds on itself magnificently. Junjin falls to the ground, bedazzled by the psychedelic kaleidoscope in his eye, and Ren wins the match. Balthazar versus Charlie, take one. Charlie's fast on the draw. She downs the Weevil potion and spews a massive acid blast all over the arena. Balthazar is caught by surprise and takes some damage from the acid burn. Charlie follows up by tossing her satchel to the ground and morphing into the Nannyville horror. Balthazar tries to trap this horror under a mountain of bog muck. Charlie's too slow to avoid getting buried in the mud, but tough enough to avoid any sprains or bruises. Balthazar ports off to the arena floor and grabs one of the low dome rungs. Charlie slumps her way free of the muck and leaps up to the top of a nearby pillar. She folds her wings into a tight shield around herself while she looks for Balthazar. Balthazar uses his rubber band port to jump right up to Charlie and pummel her with decaying fists. He's got to use a hero point to break through the wing shield, but even that's not enough to shake Charlie. Balthazar ports back where he started and takes stock. Charlie swoops around the arena and tries to bite Balthazar right off the wall. With a hero point, she manages to chomp down and damage Balthazar, but he resists the poison in her beak. Feeling a firm tug, Balthazar pushes through with a hero point to resist the mighty jaw grapple. Charlie continues to swoop around the arena, lining up for another pass. Balthazar can feel himself on the razor's edge out here. He lights up a green and shiny, activating the bog rage, then readies a teleport for the next pass by this monster. As expected, Charlie swoops in for another bite. Balthazar's been waiting and teleports to the opposite side of the dome. Turns out the Nannyville horror can shoot its feathers like shurikens. With a barrel roll, Charlie slings a barrage of feathers sharp at Balthazar. He gets sliced up and damaged. Charlie keeps swooping around the dome looking for that tasty bite. All raged up, it's the perfect time for another triple decaying punch combo. Balthazar ports in for a triple shot and manages to score some narrow hits. Charlie narrowly avoids taking damage with the help of a hero point, but the decaying necrosis from Balthazar's swamp punches seeps in at the maximum level. As Balthazar returns to his dome rung, Charlie's feathers blacken and wither as her flight wobbles. Charlie swoops around wobbly and weakened wings and another bite. And this time Balthazar doesn't have the juice to pour it away. Charlie bites him and manages to score a hit, damaging and dazing Balthazar. He resists the poison and manages to push her away, holding tight to the dome wall. Nervous over all the poison and grappling coming his way, Balthazar draws himself some fresh bog runes round his glowing green neck. He gives himself some freedom of movement and immunity to poison, hoping this'll nerf the most dangerous aspect of the bird monster's attacks. He pushes himself with some extra effort to port to the arena near a pillar, then his daze ends. Charlie's trying to get this guy out of the arena with her vice beak, but these grapples aren't working. It's time for a wind blast. She lands on the ground and claps her wings at Balthazar, so many of her rotting feathers fluttering in the air. Balthazar manages to hold tight with a hero point and avoid the damage of the blast. Charlie leaps in the air for another round. Balthazar tries his double portal decaying combo once more. If he can score one more decay, the bird should fall to the floor. Unfortunately, Charlie's flying just fast enough and he hits only air. Charlie's thinking now's her chance, lands on the arena floor, and puts her all into the next wind blast. Balthazar's too close, bludgeoned by the full force of the wind, getting damaged, dazed, and knocked well back off the arena's edge. As he hits the sand, Charlie wins the match. Jeremy versus Clara, take one. Jeremy's wasting no time and calls in King Nova, climbs in and fires a spring net right at Clara. He hits her center mass, but she manages to rip the net away before it can wrap her up. Clara suits up in her crystal armor, then bisects the arena with a tall crystalline wall. Jeremy dramatically plants the faux chopper into the arena floor, revs up his chainsaw, then readies a net launcher shot, aimed high over the wall. Clara flies up and launches a volley of mech-seeking dagger shards at Jeremy. They all hit but simply shatter against his thick steel armor. Jeremy fires a net at Clara that narrowly misses. Clara hovers back down below the wall and ponders her next move. Jeremy tries to shatter this wall with his chainsaw. The teeth skitter and clank, catching on the edge of the crystal and jamming the saw something fierce. Knocking Jeremy out of the arena is enough to win, so Clara grows a smooth crystal slope out of the arena floor. Jeremy's caught flat-footed, but with a hero point, he manages to drive his fingers into the crystal and hold fast as he's lifted. Jeremy's saw is busted, so he tosses it down the hill, pries the faux chopper out of the crystal it's stuck in, then performs a mighty leaping power attack over the edge. He swings the axe wide, missing Clara and thunking to the arena floor, ready for more. Clara settles down on the peak of her crystal slope and grows a big block out of the base, trying to force Jeremy out of the arena with a heavy shove. Jeremy's King Nova suit is tough enough to hold his ground as the crystals grow out around him. Jeremy leaps up to the top of the slope and fires a net at Clara midair. He scores another hit, but Clara easily grips the spring net and once again tosses it aside. The crystal crunches under Jeremy's weight like ice over snow as he lands heavy. Clara takes a step back and tries to trap Jeremy in a big crystal ball, but he's much quicker than he seems, hopping high and landing on top of the trap. Clara gets higher in the air to avoid any immediate melee strikes. Jeremy's confidence is building fast. He tries another net shot and scores a strong hit without spending a hero point. Clara would have been trapped this time. Jeremy jumps back to the ground, taking a bit of cover behind a pillar. Clara gets wrapped in these nets even once. That'll be it for her. She conjures up her guardian shield. A swarm of crystal shields hovering around her as she slowly floats to the center of the dome, keeping an eye on Jeremy. Jeremy's going to need a stronger jump if he's going to reach Clara flying around like that. He revs up his rocket boots and readies a leap in case he tries something clever with her crystal magic again. Clara's got her shield up and a plan's forming. She moves out into Jeremy's line of sight and waits, her shield swarm at the ready for his next attack. Jeremy shoots his net and leaps up into the air to grab her if she gets wrapped. It's a very close thing, but Clara's guardian shield deflects the step right back at him. His mid-leap with his own spring net hits him dead on. Gary's wrapped head to toe in progressively constricting metal cables as he crashes to the ground. Clara stomps on the ground and grows a slope under Jeremy. His Big King Nova suit slides slowly out of the arena and flumps into the sand. Clara wins the match. Charlie versus Ren, take 3. Charlie's feeling clever as she quickly gulps down the Now You See Me tonic and turns invisible and silent. No one hears her run full out to a pillar nearby. Ren draws the vine whip from her bag and readies an attack in case Charlie comes for her. She slowly steps forward into the center of the arena. Silent and invisible, Charlie sneaks up behind Ren. With deft hands, she plucks Ren's magic amulet over her head and puts it on herself. Ren's been waiting, makes the opportunity to strike back with the vine whip. Spending a hero point, Ren manages to strike Charlie's center mass. Charlie is nearly slashed through, but a hero point of her own saves Charlie from damage. Unfortunately, she finds there's vines creeping all over her now, hindering her movement. She goes invisible again, but has nowhere to run. Ren takes a quick peek in her bag and finds the bubble wand. That might help slow Charlie down, but for now she whips invisible Charlie and whiffs the attack. Quickly, Ren swings with the vine whip to a pillar top nearby. Charlie gulps down the Weevil potion and spews a wide cone of acid at Ren up there on the pillar peak. Ren's got no room to dodge up here, takes acid damage, and gets dazed by the blast. Charlie goes invisible and stays put to brace for the reflux. Ren's ladder rungs are melting a bit, so she swings round to the non-acid side. She checks her bag to find the stilettos. She holds up here as her daze ends. Charlie tries to push her athletic limits, run into the pillar Ren's hanging from. Still invisible and has to focus on keeping herself that way for now. Her guts are gurgling and starting to itch. Ren checks her bag once more to find the umbrella. That could come in handy, but for now Ren takes a firmer grip on the pillar rung and readies a vine whip attack. Charlie takes aim at Ren from the arena floor, turns invisible again, and climbs to the top of the next pillar over. She gurgles up a wad of acid goo during the climb. Ren has a clever idea and hides her hand in the bag, grasping the umbrella inside. Ren readies to draw the umbrella and deflect an attack. She knows Charlie is hip to Ren's items, so she doesn't want to reveal the umbrella just yet if she doesn't have to. Charlie's got Ren in her sights after taking a round to aim. With one deep breath, she hawks a wad of acid goop at Ren. Hearing the slummy noise, Ren wastes no time pulling the umbrella free and deflecting that acid wad right back at Charlie. Takes some damage, it gets dazed by the force of the hit. All Charlie's got left in the tank is to go invisible again. Ren's feeling the initiative now. She checks her bag to find the vine whip is back, perfect timing. She draws the vine whip and strikes at Charlie there at the top of the next ladder over. Ren critically misses and gets her vine stuck on the opposite pillar, ends up yoinking herself off the ladder and rolling across the arena floor. Charlie spews another massive acid blast all over the floor. Prone on her back, Ren's fully covered in the blast, taking damage and getting dazed by the acid rush. Charlie re-ups her invisibility as her daze ends. Ren's confidence takes a hard dip. Her amulet's been stolen, so she can't tank more damage. She kicks up her feet and tries another whip up, knowing Charlie's probably still up there. She connects with her whip, but her own amulet is keeping Charlie safe from damage. Vines sprout from the strike and creep out over invisible Charlie, hindering her movements. Ren's daze ends. If Charlie gets wrapped up by this whip, she's going to be out of commission and tangled in inescapable thorny vines. Charlie licks a paper tab and morphs into the Nannyville horror as she drops to Ren's side below. She races for Ren with one massive foretalon and grabs her like a mouse. Ren's damaged and dazed while gripped in the horror bird's talons. With a quick swoop over the sand, she puts Ren in the dirt, winning the match. Charlie versus Clara. Take one. Clara's first off the block this round. She builds herself a suit of armor and tries to trap Charlie inside a crystal ball. Charlie's quick enough to slink out the side of this clamping maw and step in just outside the sphere. Charlie gulps down the Now You See Me potion, turns invisible, then climbs halfway up one of the nearby pillars. Luckily, the potion prevents the clonking of her feet on the rungs. Clara's not excited to get attacked by an invisible kaiju bird any second now, so she clomps over to the center of the arena and surrounds herself with a big crystal shell. Charlie, out of an abundance of caution, drinks down her Poppins potion, turns invisible again, and takes to the air near the glass ceiling. It's the last match of the tournament, and the dome's barely holding itself together anymore. Clara decides to go all in, growing a steep crystal mountain crunching right through the metal frame of the dome. Charlie is smushed between the dome and crystal. She's damaged and dazed in the process, but luckily she's doped on Poppins' potion. Charlie hovers invisible as the wreckage slides down the slope around her, right into the sand below. Charlie holds her breath, slowly drifting on the open breeze. She keeps up her invisibility as her daze ends. Clara elevators herself up to the top of the crystal peak, sealing the tunnel below her. It's eerily quiet out here, no signs of Charlie anywhere. As the judges below argue whether it still counts as outside the dome, if there is no dome, Charlie wastes no more time. She slams down next to Clara, missing her first bite attack. With some extra effort, Charlie bites down hard, but her face is parried aside by Clara's fist. A bit shook, she leaps into the air and glides around the slope of the crystal mountain. Clara gently lifts off the top into the air. The whole top of the peak lifts up with her, aims at Charlie, and swamps down upon her. Caught under a big weight, Charlie takes some damage and is clapped to the sands outside the arena's edge. Clara takes the match and wins the tournament.